is my Yungblud take. I will tell you this. First and foremost, if I have someone visibly crying, sobbing, boo-hoo crying in front of me, telling me that they are having a bad time, they are struggling with their mental health, and it's not great, I'm not going to kick a person when they're down. I'm not going to do that. And I wish more of the world saw this video and said, all right, he's had enough. Let me back off now. But that's not what most people do. It's just not. And oof, what a shame that is. We got to stop doing that. We got to stop doing that, because when someone has had enough, why can't we just believe them? Leave them alone. Leave them alone. I mean, he also mentioned a pending hibernation period for himself in the caption of this post too. That might be about to come on a lot sooner than we think, if his backing out of Canada's Cowboys Music Festival is any clue. But I do think that this is exactly what he should be doing right now for multiple reasons. Firstly, his mind, and probably body too, need a rest. Take that rest, dude. Take it. You have been busy this past year. You have spent time supporting the Osbournes just during what was a very heavy year for them, personally and professionally. You've recorded an EP with Aerosmith, all while prepping and performing your own tour with Bloodfest, and being somewhere in the middle of all of this. And I think he can use this time to process what has happened this past year and really decide musically and culturally, where does he want to be? If I were on his team, I would tell him, all right, you got everybody's attention now. What do you want to do with it? What do you want to do with it? And just encourage further introspection and finding his own voice. Does he want to lean heavier? Does he want to stay more pop punk? Has he had a taste of the metal world and want to change things in response to that? I think it's appropriate to say, hey, here's what I learned from that experience, and this is how I want to move forward with that in mind. Yungblud has always seemed to me like someone who wants to experience life. And those choices I know might confuse fans, but hey, if the Osbournes call, if Aerosmith calls, wouldn't you answer? I bet you would, my friend, again and again and again. I would if it were me. I can't blame him. His case also has me asking, like, who decides whether someone belongs in heavy music? And what is the universally agreed on criteria for all that? Why do people keep needing this man to prove that he belongs? Are we now going to ask every artist to prove they belong? In some ways, I think that we do. Sometimes there are some people that are that hardcore that I think they do. I really do. But how do we do that in today's world, which is full of genre blending and audience crossover? Like, is that allowed anymore? Like, how are we going to keep tabs on this if we're doing different things? And this might have been the thing that bit Yungblud in the ass a little bit, because it feels like some of the metal audience didn't know why he was in their space or what to do with them. But if you knew him before, back to the beginning, you would know that he's at least on the rock spectrum. His audience and Ozzy's audience, I mean, they have some sort of crossover, but the blending might have been introduced a little bit too quickly. But sometimes as fans, I think we have to pick a lane too. Are we going to allow for flexibility, or are we going to draw hard lines? I think we need to start with answering that. And if this hibernation period he's mentioned becomes an extended thing at any point, I don't think it would necessarily hurt his career, and I think he personally would be grateful for it. And he should treat that moment the same way Queen Lola Young did. Here's what I mean by that. Lola was very transparent about what happened with her right around a big album release for her this past fall, like almost a year ago in September. Horrible timing. But sometimes that is how life is. You can get hit at a breaking point or the pinnacle of it. You know, right in the middle of a lot of work that you've put in to do this. Like sometimes it can just hit, and that happened to her. I understand how that happens, and I feel for her. I empathize with that situation. But I think she handled this the right way. So step one, he's already completed there if he's following her playbook. She also announced a break officially, and then came back with a new single when she returned. And that is how you do a hibernation period, with transparency and a little gift when you return saying, hey, thanks for waiting, in the form of new music. Lola nailed it. I think she did. She was patient with herself. Thankfully, her fans were, I think, cool and patient with her as well. And I think we can give him the same courtesy. Bad Wolves. Let's move on to them, because I promised we were going to talk about them this episode too. In the meantime, while all this is going on, Bad Wolves have announced a new era with their new singer, Sarah Kilboy Skinner, who is a treat to follow on Instagram, by the way, for a variety of reasons. Oh my goodness. And they topped all this news off with a newly released single to celebrate called Paint It Red. By the way, I think it rips. I do enjoy it. I reacted to this video. It's up on YouTube. And I said that the single and video for it are the perfect way, lyrically and visually, to hammer home that we are out with the old, in with the new, baby. We are ready. We are ready. We made that really obvious with this. And for me, that's what made this transition work. I'm fine with a lineup change if you're making it extremely obvious that that's what's happening. So lyrically and visually, if you are announcing a new era and you are smashing the old one to bits, and they are doing this in this video, smashing the old one to hell in that music video, it does not get more literal than that. So to me, there shouldn't be any more questions about what they're doing here. But the issue that some fans have isn't legitimacy. It's continuity in their case. And I'm hoping that the imagery, the writing, I hope that that's going to reestablish a stable connection with fans. And I think it will. Continuity is something that heavy music fans very much value and especially demand. So if they continue doing what they started now, don't change the plan now. You started, you made the launch. We know what to expect now. Keep going. I think their situation can be rectified, and it can also be broken down a little bit more simply than what's going on with Yungblud. I mean, this comes down to multiple vocalists being confusing for everybody, musical shifts that fans are trying to get a hold on to. I mean, it's got fans wondering about a lot of things. Maybe they're wondering, when does a band stop being a band? What is a band's identity? And is a band's identity the singer? We got to ask those questions. Is it the songwriting? Is it the remaining members? Is that what makes a band? Or is it just simply the name? Is that enough? I mean, at this point, if you're a Bad Wolves fan, I think you expect change. And you better be the kind of person that can embrace it at this point, because you should know by now that change is part of what they do. So it's kind of a blessing and a curse. They can change knowing fans will likely expect it. But if they change too much, they kind of risk having to start all over again. So it's really going to be interesting to see how they move next. Is there such a thing as too many strikes and you're out with a band? I don't know. I mean, I saw some online go so far as to say they should hang it up. This is the third attempt at making Bad Wolves a thing with a new singer. Why try again? Now, when it comes to music, I don't believe in a 3 strikes you're out mentality. I don't subscribe to that. It's music. For me, it's not that serious. But I'm willing to let an artist do what they do. I'm willing to make my own mind up on what is presented to me. Keep that to myself. It is just that simple. And I would rather see somebody with passion on stage trying something new for the millionth time that they still have a passion for than somebody bored by doing the same thing over and over and over again. I like seeing fresh faces. Sarah is going to be a fun, fresh face. At the time that I'm recording this, she still has her Killboy Zoo account on Instagram that she just made because her original Killboy account was banned, probably because of the title, but she ended up getting it back in a different way. The whole thing was weird. But anyway, this zoo account is a blast. It is fun. I am not super into reptiles per se, but I like seeing a person enjoy animals because to me, that interaction between animal and human is so sacred and so precious. And when you build a bond, it says something. If someone vibes with animals, I'm probably going to get along with them. I'm just going to say it. So I like when they reveal that part of their life. It's cool. There's confliction in all of this. I mean, what we're finding in the case of both Yungblud and Bad Wolves is that they are competing and conflicting everywhere. There's competing and conflicting expectations, really, among fans. And these expectations are going to change with each music genre and their fan base too. And it can be impossible to please everybody. Well, really impossible on both ends. It can be impossible for the artist and it can be impossible for the fans. Because I think artists here don't repeat yourself, but also don't change too much. But fans are saying, evolve, surprise us, but stay authentic, and all of those goals really contradict each other. And then there's the nostalgia of it all, which throws another wrench into this, and that comes into play for fans too. Music fans are definitely attached to eras. Taylor Swift just proved that. People don't just love artists, they love albums. They love lineups. They love aesthetics. They love periods of life. They like where that moment in time took them, and they enjoy revisiting that. Sometimes, I think sometimes fans aren't mourning the artist personally when there's a change. They're mourning the perceived loss of who that artist was when they first heard them, or what was happening at that moment in time. And I know that some fans feel like they're entering an unspoken contract, if you will, with an artist where fans might think, I know who you are. And then when an artist switches things up, fans don't necessarily think the music changed. They think you broke the agreement because you're not what I originally bought into. And that is why those reactions become very emotional and sometimes visceral. It gets deep. So here's my final thoughts on the whole thing. Who decides really whether an artist belongs in rock? How much should fans influence an artist's direction? Can an artist reinvent themselves without alienating people? When does a lineup change become a completely different band? Do we judge artists differently if they become successful too quickly? Are fans protecting a genre or gatekeeping it? And how do we navigate all of this, again, in a world where blending genres and audiences, knowing they're not the same, and won't have the same expectations? Like, how does that all work? Because the moment fans define an artist, every future decision that artist makes becomes a test. Stay the same, you're stale. You change too much, you've lost yourself. So somewhere in between is where almost every modern artist is trying to exist. So how about this, fans? Let's give them the space to figure that out. And let's make our own decisions for ourselves without being dicks about it on what it is that they're doing. And just let everybody live. That's where I'm at with this. I've said too much. I'll see you next time. Bye.